There we go. Hold on. Okay. So I'll wait, which I usually don't do. What do people do when they wait? I don't know. I actually hit live at exactly 9, and then I had to cancel. But I was here at 9. So, for the people not watching, how's it going? So, what I was going to do, whether people show up or not, is read from my journals. Now, I did it before in a live on my blog page, Be the Crown, but I haven't done it on my profile. So I'm not going to be reading the same things. There's some that might be the same from the other one that I did earlier this year, but this one's going to have different things. Hello, who's watching? Hi. I can't see a thing up top. It just shows an eyeball. So hi. Who's there? Yeah, so hi John and Bob. How are you? Did you have to like go to my profile, or like was it popping up on your timeline? Because I'm not sure how that works with the lives. I don't know if like it'll just pop up when people are live, or if they actually have to go to the profile, or if they have to follow them. I don't know. Let me know, please. Look, I put like sticky notes in the journal and stuff, and then like I figured I could give you guys like kind of a cue. Okay, cool. So I figured I'd just be like, I got these on this stuff, you know, like here I have purpose, right? Where I figured some stuff out about purpose, and while I was writing, because they go into automatic writing, I ended up becoming aware of what the hell was really going on with me to begin with. Hello, person number 2. Who's there? I don't understand why I'm not seeing the people. Like, I see John up there now. Yeah, so I put sticky notes in the journals, and then I'll just be like, you know, this is this entry, and like y'all can tell me if there's anything specific you want to hear. I did print something out that's in my journal, but I printed out the blog version of it. Just because for some reason, Can't Save Them All just seems to be constantly in my ears lately. So I'm going to explain that whole entry. Yeah, it said 2 people, and then I just they see it went away. So, but yeah, so I'm going to explain how that entry ended up becoming a moment of awareness whenever I was writing the blog for it and not actually writing in my journal, because it came from a dream, and it involved my friend who had hung himself. So that was a really intense blog entry for me, because I cried for like 4 hours because I realized I felt really guilty about him dying, and I released all that once I became aware of what the message was. And but yeah, I'll go into detail when a couple more people are here. I don't know if Emily's coming. Who's the second person? Because there's 2 things again, but no picture. I have a headache again. Do you have a headache today? See, now it's back down to 1. I don't understand what's going on. Probably just random people seeing it going, oh no, don't want to watch her. Yeah, because I know there were a couple of people who wanted to come on, but I don't know if they check the time zones or not. I don't know if they check the time. So, I mean, they can always come back later and watch it. What's this one? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she can just pop on in because I was going to invite her in there to thingy. Because I think she wanted to share that one thing that she wrote that she showed me earlier. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think it's Sunday. So I'm just going to sit here and wait. So I figured if I do it on a Sunday, a little later my time, people might be more available. But if not, that's cool too. You can always hit me up to ask questions, or if there's a part where I have like a sticky note and I don't end up reading that and you want me to read it, you can always send me a message and I'll read it in another one, or I'll just read it to you on voice messenger. I found a song today that I was writing. I got the message that Jonathan's sending them. It's in a group. Let me swoop that. So yeah, just waiting. Are you back? Hi. I saw the message pop up on my thing. I found a song I started writing earlier this year in March. I used to go online and I'd find like beats that people made and I would just write lyrics to it. And earlier this year, I wanted to try to do that again because I haven't done it in a long time. I actually do have older songs that are like, I don't even know how old. When did I move to the States? 10 years old. Or like 10 years old. 8 years old, 10 years old. Yeah. That I posted on YouTube, but I never made them public. Hi. Yeah, I saw your back. But yeah, so I found this YouTube music dude who makes beats, and I started writing a song, but I never finished it, and I found it today. And I'm contemplating whether or not I should finish it. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Alright, so it's showing... No, 1. It says 2 views and then 1. I don't know. So what have you been doing? A 4-second delay? Okay. We had that last time too, didn't we? Where there was like a weird thing going on there. But that's okay. 4 seconds is nothing compared to eternity, right? Yeah, so like I tried to print out the blog version of that one entry and it printed out really big. And I couldn't print it out on WordPress. And I was on my phone, right? It probably would have been easier on my computer. I think people are curious and then popping out. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Well, I haven't started reading my diaries yet, so you know. Okay. So you're warm. Do you know if that package ever got to Emily's? Because I think I asked her, but I don't remember her answering. I don't know. Okay, so it says 2 people. Who's watching? Hello? I don't see on the screen who's there. I just see 2 viewers. Hello. How are you? 16 seconds that time. That's like weird, right? 3 people. Say hi, because I can't see who's watching. Oh, okay. Damn. Alright, so we got 3 people on right now. I don't know who, but hi. Thank you for joining my TED Talk. I was telling I was telling John that I got sticky notes in my journal, and then I'll just like kind of say what it is, and then y'all can just say what you want me to read. Most of this stuff, this entire journal, pretty sure pretty much everything that's in here, that's regarding shadow work, healing, spiritual awakening, is literally all on my page. Like, I copied it straight from this onto the page, and then I, like, you know, shared whatever information came to me as I was posting the actual journal entries onto the blog, because it's like I wrote the journal entries, and then at some point I was guided to share them online, but whenever I was sharing the journal entries, I would have like these epiphanies come in as I was writing, copying from my journal, and I was doing the shadow work using the older journal entries. So I have, this one is on my blog, and my Pata one is on my blog. And then, like, eventually what happened is I started to write in this one, but everything was just like I just started writing directly on Facebook, and I stopped writing in the journals. I just started putting it all online. So there's a couple things that I have in the journals that I'm not sure if I ever put it on the blog or not, or on my profile, because like I started only on the blog, and then eventually I started to put stuff on the profile and the blog and in the group, and then I started to post things in my group, and then the groups that I moderate, and then my blog and my profile. So like things are really scattered, but the beginning of the whole thing going all the way up until now, every single one is on the blog, Be the Crown. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, my thing's good. I gotta make sure I'm not on my Wi-Fi. On my, yeah. Mobile data. That's the word. Anyways, so, I don't know who's there, but I guess I'll just explain what happened for the, can't save them all message that I keep talking about. Alright, so last year after I bled out, there's Emily. Hi. Last year after I bled out, I started to have all this crazy stuff happening. One of them being Sekhmet, the Sekhmet thing, which I have in here. That's one of the tags. So, and I always had this whole thing with wanting to help people. I always wanted to be like a psychologist or something, right? So after I bled out, I started to have all these crazy spiritual things happening. Yeah. And, so November, I think it was November last year, I finally gave myself the push to actually start writing online, because I had already set up, like, in my head, I had all these ideas for blogs or YouTube stuff or Instagram stuff, and I was just not really sure what to write about. And then November, I got this message of like, share your journal, right? Because I was reading my journal entries from 2017, 18, when I got back here and after I had my baby, when I was really depressed and I was realizing that I was writing stuff that was the spiritual awakening, Dark Night of the Soul, and I was like, holy shit, right? And then I saw where I was at that point, so it only made sense to be like, hey, if I want to help people heal, which I had wrote about that I wanted to do that after my surgery. I was like, I just want to help people heal from abuse and all that stuff, you know, and I was like, let me share my journal. So I was just on WordPress, excuse me, I was on WordPress and I was sharing my journal entries, starting with my Dark Night of the Soul, which I had to rip out of the old journal, and then I put it in here. Now, I don't know if you want me to read the Dark Night of the Soul one, because that's like the longest blog entry I have, because it consists of like 3 posts. But I have it in here. Basically, what I was explaining was how I was feeling as if I had been ripped out of a dream and I couldn't tell the difference between what was reality. And I was like, everything I experienced in the States at the time coming back. Hi, Ashley. it just all felt like a dream. And I would hold my newborn and I'd be like, I don't even know if she's real. Like, if I drop her, am I going to wake up? That's literally how I felt. So after I had the baby, I got back on my bipolar medication and I was stable, but I still was crying a lot. And the crying started before, before I even went back to Germany. It had already started. I just wasn't aware of it because I was pregnant and I wasn't medicated, and I was bipolar and I had PTSD and anxiety and I was dealing with a, drug addict, alcoholic boyfriend who didn't, it didn't make him feel bad to lay his hands on a woman. So I was just in a constant state of survival mode and fear, So when I came back here and I got back on my medication, everything still felt weird. Like I was, emotionally a little bit more under control. I was still crying though. I was still crying and my handwriting in here is absolutely horrible. So I'll do my best, but I'll go ahead and read it. I do want to point out I was stoned when I started to write this, but the baby was already born and all the children were taken care of and all of the things, right? So, because, I don't know if anybody knows, but I was a stoner for a really long time. I actually smoked for medical reasons. And, it just kind of, But then I stopped because it started to make me anxious instead of taking away my anxiety. And that's a different topic. But, when you're using specific kind of drugs to help through your spiritual awakening, at some point, there's a possibility that they will actually not help anymore. Because if your frequency goes above the frequency of that drug, well, it's not going to do shit spiritually, And for me, they wanted me to have a really clear mind. So that was that. All right. So February 7th, 2018, I wrote really horrible handwriting. It's like everything that happened is starting to come back to me. If I read too fast, let me know. Because I'll just like, blah, 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 blah. Okay. It's like everything that happened is starting to come back to me as if it were a dream, like it never really happened. And then I get satisfied because if it never happened, then who is this person I love and left behind? My friends, my memories. And it feels like a dream, maybe it never happened. And I ask myself, am I really seriously crazy? Am I clinically insane? Is this what a psychosis feels like? I feel like nothing is real anymore and it's scaring the shit out of me because if nothing is real, then what's the point in being alive to feel like this? Everything feels so far away and without meaning, and sometimes it's like I can feel his presence, but I know he's not here. And he can never just show up like he did before because I left the States. I'm talking about the girls' dad. I didn't go across town or country. I crossed the ocean where he can never come back and fuck that hurts so damn bad. And I haven't been able to explain this and it's been killing me because I want to know what I'm feeling and it makes no sense, but I can't express it. Oh, thank you. Oh shit, where was I here? This is the best way I can put it. And I had to get hella lit to get to this point of being able to explain it all. And then I wrote, or like, this is the dream, having Adeline. A sense like in a movie where the person lives two lives, but one is all in their head. That's it, I guess. It's like it's all in my head. Reality doesn't feel real anymore. Is that safe? Is it sane? It's like when you binge watch a TV show for days straight and then you reach the season finale and it ends and you feel like, I'm not even sure, like you lost something, like they took something from you. You feel lost, grief in a way. Am I mourning? No one died. Maybe I'm mourning myself. Or a relationship, multiple relationships, and friendships that ended because they all at some point became addicted to drugs. How is it that I never did them? You'd think I would have, but I saw what others turned into and I didn't want to become that. I'm pretty sure I would do drugs right now. It seems worth it so I don't have to feel like this. So as you can tell, I was really going through some shit. I was really trying to figure out what was wrong with me. I was thinking I was clinically insane. Seriously. Like, I could not tell the difference between reality and what appeared to be an illusion. I felt like I was not in the real world, and it just seemed really dangerous for me at the time because I was alone, living in a town that I'd never really been before. I didn't know anybody. My family, they didn't live, my mom was like an hour drive away. My sister, she was kind of close, but I had really shitty signal. I didn't get internet for a really long time. It took like 4 months to get my internet, and I didn't have a landline either, so like I couldn't really call people much. I couldn't get online. I couldn't do anything. So I was isolated in a town that I called The Hills Have Eyes, is what I called it. Yeah. And I was isolated. And this is where, COVID comes in 2020, where people have to quarantine and isolate, right? It's to trigger this. Because then you're stuck. Hi, Cameron! Because then you're stuck with yourself, So I was alone with 3 children, and one of them a newborn, and I was, fucking thought I was nuts. I was suicidal, right? I was suicidal. The only reason I'm alive was because I couldn't bring myself to kill my child. And then whenever I had her, I was like, well, if I kill myself now, who knows how long it's going to take for them to find me, and then, like, the babies are going to be alone. So, like, my kid saved my life. There's a tarot reading in the middle of this, but that's cool. Alright, so then the second part of the Dark Night of the Soul. So the first one was February 7th, 2018. And over here, like, I wasn't writing very much. I was still trying to, figure things out. I used to write a whole bunch. I was on a poetry website that doesn't exist anymore, sadly. But I had a lot of poetry on there. And when I think back at some of the poetry that I don't have, but I remember, I can recognize where I was sharing the same lessons that are in my blog, but via poetry. So that was pretty cool. I didn't have the awareness back then. I had the lessons going on, but not the awareness. And that was in 2009. Yeah, 2009, 2010, somewhere around that thing. So February 16, 2018, I wrote, I feel better with meds. I have more control. Never forget how shitty it is when you're not medicated. You can't go without meds, not without peace and not without smoke. So I was already aware that I had to have peace in order for me to figure my shit out, right? Because, like, I had come from a very chaotic place. And that's why I didn't know what was real and what wasn't. Because I was trying to recover and I was losing my shit, right? I wrote, I feel alone, isolated, betrayed, guilty, ashamed, stupid, confused, detached. Like my life was a dream and I was in a deep sleep and something ripped me out of it and I can feel the dream fading away, and it's breaking my heart every time that feeling takes over because I lost it all. I lost my life, I lost my love, I lost myself, and it sucks. I get so mad sometimes, and I want to talk to him and tell him what a piece of shit he is. Call him out on his bullshit, make him hurt, make him think, make him feel regret, but I can't and I shouldn't. I hate this. It's killing me. How do I make it stop? How do I stop missing a lie? Why do I miss something that made me want to die? Fuck. And then February 16th also, I wrote a poem. Hi, Jennifer. How are you? I wrote a poem. This was while in my dark night of the soul, clearly. I wrote, I was lost inside my own home, never knowing when the addiction would make you roam. I gave you all I had to give, my life, my love, my time, but you're mad inside, you always turn to crime. I never thought I'd lose myself in your sick reality. Now everything feels away. Feels far away. Blah! I'm discombobulated, empty, a vessel yearning to be filled. You showed no remorse when my core was killed. Yeah. Forgiveness. Yeah, I get to that at some point here. I'll tell you what I realized when I was going through this. Somehow you lured me into your hell and left me there to bleed. My soul is screaming out in agony. Someone grant me sanctuary from my insanity. Oh, this isn't a poem. These are lyrics. I took the names you called me and hung them on the wall. Turned away from lies and rage, too late to stop my fall. I dodged the things you threw at me. I loved you through it all. You know everything about me, the good, the bad, the darkness deep within. Your aggressive selfishness and immaturity let your light shine dim. You're Dr. Jekyll and then you're Mr. Hyde, stealing the very life from me and making it alright. I'm a joyless shell of who I used to be, an empty vessel yearning to be filled. You didn't know I'd become detached once my strength was killed. I tried to help you escape your hell and you left me here to bleed. Now I'm rotting in my cell alone with my insanity. Now, when I look at this now, right, I'm like, I was talking about a vessel, right? I was talking about a vessel. We are a vessel. We are energetic beings. The soul living in a human vessel to experience a human life here on earth, right? And I mean, in 2020, we're on a mission We're on a whole ass mission this lifetime, guys. A whole ass mission. Which we've been before, but like this time it's a lot more people. There's a lot more awareness. Where's the other poem? There was another one. Oh, I had written that on my computer. Yeah, anyways, but it's in my blog, the other one. The whole Dark Night of the Soul thing has the other one too. I think the other one may have been the lyrics. Yeah, because I was listening to that one dude. What's his name? Hobo Johnson? Anybody know Hobo Johnson? I think that's his name. April 15th, 2018, I wrote, I'm feeling a lot better. The meds help. Having a car helps. Yeah, I didn't have a car at first either. I got a car from March. So I moved in December 31st, 2017. Had the baby February 2018. Didn't have internet until April. Didn't have a car until March. And like I said, I was pretty isolated. I had one friend. She would come visit me once or twice a month. She lived further away and her car had broken down, so she would take the train and she would come and hang out for a weekend. No, it was gotpoetry.com, but that doesn't exist anymore. I don't remember what happened. I think like the servers got like overloaded and the dude couldn't afford to keep it up or something. Hobo Johnson's the shit, man. I fucking love him. But yeah, so April 15th, 2018, I said, feeling a lot better. Meds help. Having a car helps. The weather is nice. I wish I had more friends who lived closer to me. And then I was writing about my friends who are getting married. And that my back was really bad. And that I needed to lose more weight and I needed more motivation. And if I wasn't in so much pain, it'd be easier to work out. Now, what had happened was, I had to have 2 D&Cs because of excessive bleeding, which is why I got my hysterectomy to begin with, because I would bleed for months. And I had really, really bad pain from 3 C-sections. Now, whenever they took out my uterus, it turned out that this pain I had was because I had fibroids or something on my uterus, but I had so much scar tissue in my body, it was up in my, like, intestinal area and on my spine, and the bladder, my bladder had scar tissue wrapped around it, and it had pulled my bladder out of where it was supposed to be, and it was, like, stuck up in my uterine wall. So all that pain that I had for a really long time was because I had all that scar tissue inside me, and it was literally like moving my organs around and doing weird Spider-Man stuff, you know. So I was in a lot of pain. And that was on top of, you know, feeling crazy. Hallo Sabrina, wie geht's dir? So that was my Dark Night of the Soul super hardcore depression entry, which is the very first blog entry that I made on WordPress, and then later on when I transferred everything to the Facebook page, that's the first entry. And then throughout the year I would like repost it just so that people who are new to reading my blog could see, okay, this is where she was, and then they could be like, well, this is where she is now. So that's why I tell people, if you're going to read the blog, you're probably going to want to scroll all the way down, get to the Dark Night of the Soul, the depression, the recovering from all of that stuff, you know, and then just work your way up, because you can see the entire process. You can see where I started the spiritual awakening. You can see where I started shadow work, where I was getting these lessons in and all this stuff. And at some point throughout this journey, I became aware of the fact that I was channeling messages. And I was like, oh, well, damn, right? Hi, Phil. So, what was it that Emily, somebody wanted me to read something, I thought, right? Hold on, let me check. All right, real quick for the new people watching. I'm sharing my journals from my spiritual awakening. Dreams, near-death experience, astral projection, lessons I was learning. It's all on my blog. But I figured I would go live and y'all can kind of pick out what you want me to read. I did some sticky note stuff. But there is one that I want to share specifically for reasons, which is Can't Save Them All. I'm going to go ahead and explain what happened, which I started explaining earlier, and then I got sidetracked and read The Dark Night of the Soul. But this is why I write blogs, people, because when I talk, I get all over the place. Empath things. I mean, I don't know if I have specific posts, like journal entries about being an empath, but I know I have them on my blog because it's part of the journey. Yeah, I don't think I have anything in here on that. I think at that point I was already starting to write directly into the thing, because I did figure out, one, everybody's an empath because energy. The only thing that we lack is awareness. And two, a narcissist is an empath on the opposite end of the spectrum, right? Because when we talk about dark and light, you flip the coin, it's the same coin, right? They go together, which I do have something in here that I will read about that. About that whole non-duality, duality thing, the oneness, the light and the dark being the same thing. So many levels, layers, and dimensions to it, but I just have like a short little thing in here that also is like a collective message about the twin flame unions as well. It's a prophecy, I guess you would say, whatever. Prediction I don't know. But I wrote it in here, and then like I did kind of write about it a little bit here and there on the blog. But I have the original thing in this one. And whenever that came to me, I had been talking to somebody who actually is a vessel for Lucifer. And it was really weird because she knew stuff that I had not talked about. She knew stuff about me that nobody would have known. She knew dreams I've had about Lucifer, which she couldn't have known. Like, how are you going to know what dreams I had specifically about Lilith and Lucifer unless they're telling you? So all these energies are, hi Heather, are really, really strong sometimes. And that's when I had that one thing that I wrote. But anyway, so November I started to share my journal because I was like, okay, cool, how can I help people heal? I was told I'm going to help people heal when I was in my blood in the hospital. And I saw that I had Dark Night of the Soul and where I was at that point, and I was like, damn, I've come a really long way. How about I share my journal, and then people can just read my journal and kind of see how I did it, how I overcame the abuse and all of the trauma and all that stuff. And then it just kind of turned into a lot more because I didn't realize I was doing shadow work, and then I realized I was doing shadow work, and I was like, well, let me go deeper into my shadow, right? So it just became this whole thing, and I just shared the whole process. So then in December, and I was still going through periods, like I was more social at this point, but I was still going through periods where I would just, like, my neighbors wouldn't see me for months unless they checked on me. Or if I, like, had to leave, to go shopping and stuff, but, like, I would not hang out with them. Because I moved in this apartment October 2019. That's when I moved in here. I started renovating in July, but I moved in here in October, and like, because the guy who was living above me at the time, I'd known him from before I even went to the States, and him and his wife, he's the one I spoke about getting married in the journal I just read. And they had 2 little girls who were Kyrie's age, and it just seemed perfect to move here and actually be with some friends who have kids, and he had a son Joshua's age who was going back and forth between mom and him from his previous marriage, so it was good, and this is where I met my boyfriend, so that all worked out great. But yeah, so in December I was in this group on Facebook. I want to say it's called the Psychics Corner, but I'm not exactly sure. But I was posting stuff, and I was in the High Priestess group as well, where I was just like kind of posting dreams and just stuff that I was kind of going through. And this one woman, because I was telling her, I was like, I was writing about this presence I kept feeling. Now, I've always had spirits around me. I have a recording on TikTok that I posted on my profile today for people to look at, where I recorded a pink orb, a lot of orbs, but there was a pink orb, and it was really crazy. And you get a really good view of it. And I posted that on TikTok a while back, but I put it on the profile today because it's one of the tabs in here where I mentioned the pink orb. So I was like, I'll go ahead and put that on my profile so that if people want to go and look at that, they can do that. So I was writing about feeling a presence in my room. Now, the spirits, they know they don't go in my room. Like, if you want me to talk and you want to give me messages, don't fuck with my space. This is my space, don't fuck with it. But occasionally, some of them will still come up in my space in here. And I kept thinking, I was like, why do I feel like Jason is here? Why do I feel like Jason is here? Jason is my friend who hung himself, going on 5 years ago. And I was one of the last people to actually see him that I'm aware of, because he had come to my house. He had hit me up and he was like, hey, I'm out of food. It was New Year's Eve. He said, I'm out of food. I get paid next week. Can I come and can you get me some food and stuff? So I was like, yeah, I'll get you some food. And he said, I need sandwich stuff, and I need like something to have like an actual meal. So I was like, yeah, cool. And he said, can you give me some weed? And I was like, yeah, bro, I got you, right? So I went to the store and I got him his stuff, and he came over, and then he was telling me about how he had been at a friend's house recently, and he drank bong water that apparently had meth or some shit. I don't remember exactly what was in it, but I was like, dude, why? First of all, bong water is nasty as shit, right? So like, why? But it had something else in it, and it almost killed him. And he was like, I was really scared I was going to die. I don't want to die. And I was like, well, yeah, we don't die, So I was like, I'm glad you're okay. At this point, he had just broken up with his girlfriend because she cheated on him. And she had contracted something and gave it to him. And that's how he found out. Now, it wasn't anything permanent. It was one of those things. Get a shot and you're good to go. But, the fact was she cheated on him and she caught something, and it could have been something worse than just this whole ordeal. So he was really upset about that. He was texting a lot while he was at my house. And he was just telling me that, I don't think I'm going to get over this with her. And, I told him, why don't you stay here? I'm having a party. My neighbors are going to be here. We're going to drink. We're going to smoke. We're going to have a bunch of food. We got dominoes. We got the Xbox set up. We got cards, all this stuff, like hang out. And he said that he had to go back to the Lake of the Ozarks, which was like a good hour drive, because he was a mechanic, and he said he was working on somebody's car, and he had actually promised them to get it done early. So the next day, later on that night, we actually me and my boy Jimmy, we end up swinging by his brother's house to go pick up some Jell-O shots. And it turned out his brother lived right by Jason. And Jason had told me that he was, going to go to bed early and get up and leave the next morning. So as I was waiting on Jimmy to go grab the stuff from his brother, I looked at Jason's trailer, and something told me, go check on him. But I didn't listen, right? Because I was like, well, he said he's got to work tomorrow and he's going to go to sleep. And I know he always has some lights on in the house even when he's asleep, right? And I knew his door would have been open because his door was always unlocked. I didn't listen. I didn't listen to the little voice in my head that has saved my life at some point, which we all have. And he hung himself that night. So I carried that guilt with me. And I wasn't aware that I had that guilt until I wrote this blog entry. Now, when I started to sense his presence and I wrote about it in this group, Nanette hit me up. She's on my friends list, I think. If not, she's in that group, the Psychics Corner or the High Priestess. I want to say it's the Psychics Corner though, because I wasn't on there much. But she's super sweet, and she does card readings. She's an intuitive reader, so she's not going to go exactly by what the cards are saying, but she's in tune. And she was giving me the message that I had to be my authentic self. She said, you have to be. No. Hello, Ilya. So, he killed himself, and I had that guilt, and I wasn't aware of it. And then I was talking to Nanette, and she was like, I sense an urgency behind whoever is trying to give you these messages. And I was like, well, what do you mean, right? So she says, I'll give you a reading for free. And I was like, okay, cool. And usually she'll do one reading for free. So she's doing the reading, and she's telling me that I need to be my authentic self. I told her, I am. Like, what do you mean? I said, I'm kind of still isolating myself from people because I'm still healing. And she was like, no, your time of isolation is over. She said, you need to go out and you need to be your authentic self. And she wanted to, like, the way she wanted to say it was, she told me, she was like, you have to be your authentic self to become enlightened. But they wouldn't let her use the word enlightened for some reason. I don't remember exactly what it was. But she switched out that word, but she did tell me she wanted to say enlightened, but they wanted it to be a different word. So I was like, okay, how do I be my authentic self, right? That was my question. How do I be my authentic self? And she was like, you need to get out. So I was like, okay, so like, should I be hanging out with people in town? Am I supposed to go to like these town meetings or like this cafe thing that they do once a month here? And she was like, I mean, that's a start. So I was trying to figure it out. And, you know, I told her I just started writing my blog on WordPress. I was like, I just started where I'm like writing my journal entries. Now, what was going on at this point was I had done a couple of my journal entries on the blog, but I stopped. And I kept having this nagging thought, do the next journal entry, do the next journal entry. And I didn't want to because I wasn't getting a lot of reads. I was like, well, nobody's reading my shit anyway, so why bother, right? I was like, you know. But then she was talking about the whole be your authentic self. And I'm like, okay, well, what is the authentic Jenna? The authentic Jenna loves to write, right? She likes to help people. And she likes to fucking, like, be away from people. Like, it's weird, right? So I was like, okay, cool. So I'll try to get out there more, but let me just focus on this first. Awake, authentic, enlightened, shadow work, all synonyms. Yep. Yep. So I was like, okay, cool. Well, I mean, if you think, because shadow work is when you're going within to heal. You're going through all the rejected aspects of self, all the trauma, all the pain that we try to hide away from because we like to have toxic walls instead of healthy boundaries to avoid conflict and pain. Being awake is being aware, really, of the spiritual journey, of what happens, of, you know, universal things. Yeah. And then being authentic is being your true self and being true to who you are and what you are here to do, right? So there are differences. They're all terms that we can use as synonyms. But my kids are still up. They're screaming. That's cool. But yeah, so she said, be your authentic self. And I was like, fine, you know. So I was like, okay, let me just do this next journal entry. And the next journal entry was a dream that I had. Now, I will read it to you. I hope I have the pages in order. Yeah. Yeah. I started calling it awareness a while ago, and then like I kind of flipped it over to remembering. So I use all the different words, just like especially in the beginning of my blog, you'll see me alternating between like God, goddess, universe, spirit, you know, consciousness. Like I alternate between the things because I'm like, I'm not trying to just reach, you know, one specific religion or like one specific belief. I'm trying to reach as many people as possible because my blog wasn't about religion. It was about healing. It didn't start off as a spiritual blog, right? It was about healing. I was like, shit. And then all this other stuff was happening in the process. And I was like, okay, I guess it is spiritual. And it turns out that spirituality and healing and religion, they all go together anyways. You can't do one without the others. So, the journal entry was from September 3rd, 2019. And I wrote, oddly enough, I reached this point in my journal at the exact time I need this message the most. Another dream. This is the journal entry, as it is in my journal. Another dream. In an office, a cubicle office space setting. There was a woman who baked pull-apart pastries. They were moist, fluffy, and looked amazing, but when you opened them, there was an old, gray, disgusting-looking hand inside that would attack the person who was given the treat. The old hand had an old lace wrist cuff attached to it. You know those like in the Interview with the Vampire movies where they have like this super fluffy, you know, it was like that. The baker was very good with her detail work. I told the woman she could not give that to people, but she was determined that they get out to certain people, some kind of weird baker's voodoo. I was trying to warn some guy not to open the pastry, and the lace cuff stretched out of the pastry, and it wrapped itself around the guy like a snake, and then the hand tried to choke him. Jason hung himself. I didn't realize this as I was actually writing this dream down back then, but while I was writing it into the blog, it came to me. That's all I remember right now. There was something else, though, that could have been a whole other dream. I did not feel afraid in the dream, just kind of upset that the lady wanted to hurt others. Initially, I may have just accepted things despite my personal opinions, but I could have also attempted to help the guy. I don't remember because that's when my kiddos woke me up. The past few days, I had some random anxiety going on. No triggers, just something that came and went. The energy is gone now. Guess just another stepping stone while the healing takes place. That was the end of the journal entry. Hello, Patricia. Then I wrote, now looking back at this entry and thinking about the dream, which I remember the details written here like it was yesterday. It was almost like a black and white old school horror movie type of feel. Anyway, I think that the dream was just a message telling me that I cannot save them all. Just because I know something is bad for someone does not mean that I will be able to save them from it or that I should. People make their own choices. Even if we know something is bad, we often still go for it. Why? Honestly, sometimes it's because we're stupid. Now, I did make a note later on in here at some point, which I didn't change on there, but I put it here for me. You know, people are not stupid. We just make stupid choices, right? I wrote, seriously, we are. Do you know how many times I took my drug-addicted alcoholic ex back before I finally said enough is enough? I'm counting 7 times that I am sure of. 7 times where I had kicked him out for good reason, yeah, and I still let him come back after days or months or even 2 years. And then it was always the same shit all over. So yeah, we do things that we know are bad for us. Call it hope, love, being naive, being stupid, or being unable to handle the pain that life has thrown at us. Whatever the reason, eventually we all learn or we die. I still have the urge to help everyone. I want to save the world. That's just how my heart works. I know, though, that the best thing I can do for the world is to be myself and spread my light and my love. That will make an impact on someone somewhere and change their life. That is what we are supposed to do, be love. If someone gets saved from themselves in the process, even better. We may not be able to save them all, but we can save ourselves and hope that somewhere down the line we can have a big enough impact on someone else's choices. Even though I accept the decisions others make, I still wish I had been able to make a difference for my friend 4 years ago. I will always remember the night you were my light, and I will always regret not being able to return the favor. Rest in peace, Jason. I love you. I miss our talks. But it's not all that bad. I still feel your magic. And then I put down the National Suicide Prevention number on the blog back then. So the messages started coming in, and I wasn't aware of, what really was going on. But then, I felt the presence of my dead friend. And then at the same time, this woman comes in and says, hey, be your authentic self. And I'm like, what's being my authentic self? Writing is being my authentic self, all up in my witchiness and writing. So I get to that part in the journal, and it just happened to be a message from Jason that I cannot save them all. Now, when I made this entry, the journal entry was in September. But when I wrote it on the blog, it was right around Christmas time. It was right before Christmas. Is the date on here? No, I don't think I copy pasted that part whenever I went to print it out. But yeah, so yeah. I had recognized that lesson. And that was in here, December 30th. Okay, so the talk with her was right before Christmas, and then I posted this December 30th. I don't remember if maybe I wrote it earlier, because what I was doing is I was writing multiple blogs a day, and then I was scheduling them for a couple days in advance. So, but yeah, it was, Christmas, New Year's, whatever. So this year, December 31st, January 1st, will be 5 years that he hung himself. Last year, December 30th, I figured out the message. I just knew, and then she confirmed as a medium / intuitive reader. I just knew it was him. I can't explain it. I felt his energy. I knew it was him. I called his name and I felt something brush my arm. After my cat died, I figured out that was him too. She died by hanging. So that message came through, and then that was, right before the beginning of 2020, can't save them all is the message I get. And what do we have in 2020? A whole lot of death, right? One of my other blogs that I wrote, I want to say January or February, was about destruction. And I was writing about destruction because I had a vision of burning cities and people rioting and people killing each other. And I was like, holy fuck, we're going to have some really fucked up shit happening. But instead of me saying, hey, things are going to get pretty fucked up in America, I wrote a blog talking about destruction coming and how destruction has to take place in order for us to be able to rebuild, just like it happened during our spiritual awakening, right? Yeah, we just know. We just kind of know. My kid's crying. One of them. So I was writing about destruction. And I remember when I started to get this message, I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to write the blog. Because I was like, that's going to scare people. And I didn't want to scare people. You know, I wanted to show people how I was healing, what I was doing, so that they could, you know, be like, okay, cool, let me see if this works for me too, right? I didn't plan on writing about destruction and fucking people dying all year long and like, what? But that was what I saw. So I noticed I was getting really anxious. Now, I hadn't had anxiety problems since before the surgery, and then I had some, you know, with the surgery and the bleeding out, of course, you know, for good reason. But I didn't really have anxiety issues anymore. But I noticed that I was feeling really anxious with this whole message of destruction and me not writing it. And I remember telling, my friend, I was like, look, I don't want to talk about destruction on my blog, but I really feel like I have to. So I wrote it the way I did, where I was talking about not to have fear and how things have to be destroyed in order to be rebuilt. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere, guys. Nope. I'm back. Are you still there? Hi. Sorry. Yeah, the toddler was screaming, and it's like almost 10 p.m. here. But she took a late nap. When she was screaming, turned out that she wanted to take off her diaper, and she got mad because her big brother wouldn't let her. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, so I had that blog entry about destruction, and I didn't want to be giving fearful messages, so, you know, I put it in a way that makes sense, because when you go through a spiritual awakening, hi, I'm back. When you go through this, it starts off with destruction. It starts off with rock bottom, right? And everybody's rock bottom is different. Nobody's is worse or easier or, you know, anything like that. It's just, we all reach a point in our life where we have a choice, free will, to acknowledge our pain, take accountability for where we're fucking up, to allow ourselves to hurt in the first place, or we can opt out, right? I could have killed myself. I wanted to kill myself, but I didn't. So we all reach that point. And what happens when we reach that point is, and we make this choice, is if we decide to become better, then we start to heal. We unknowingly start to do shadow work. And what happens when we do shadow work is it opens the door to the universe, because you start to get to know yourself. And that's why in my ebook, where I have the shadow work exercises, I'm not worried about how long that book is. Because I know that just by doing those shadow work exercises that are in there, that's already going to open that door. And people are going to start to have the kind of experiences that we've already had or that we're having. And they're going to be like, oh shit, let me keep doing this, right? Or they're going to freak out and shut the door. But they're going to know just by that little bit of work that there's going to be, you know, a shift. There's going to be a shift. Because I've been watching it happen to people all year long reading my blog. They've been having these shifts. They've been having epiphanies. They started to do shadow work, and then they were like, oh my God, all these things are happening. And like, holy shit, I'm channeling messages, and I'm having visions and dreams, and I'm predicting the future, right? So everybody's been having these experiences, you know? It's a whole bunch of people. So, yeah, I wrote about the destruction. And I noticed I was having anxiety because I didn't want to write about it. But when I wrote about it, the anxiety went away. So this is when I started to realize that I get anxious when I'm supposed to share a message. It doesn't happen too often anymore. And it wasn't, I really don't know how to explain it, right? It's like a trigger, kind of. Like, they'll push the button, be like, here's your message, right? And I'll be like, okay, cool. I'll do that later, right? I'll do it later. I gotta do stuff and nap and mom stuff, right? But it's like, no, anxiety, do it now. And then I'd be like, do it later. And then anxiety would get worse. And I'd be like, damn, why am I anxious, right? And then I would do it, and then I'd be like, oh, the anxiety's going away, right? So I started to figure out that I was sharing these messages for a reason. Yeah, sometimes it can be like, I guess weird, not even weird. It's just like, cause sometimes you're talking to people who haven't experienced things that you have yet, and they have all those questions that we had way in the beginning, you know? So it's like we're repeating ourselves over and over again, but that's what we're here to do. Oh, I had to reload the video. You know, we're here to help. That's the whole thing. And I have one of my dreams in here where it was explaining in this dream that we help each other ascend. We boost each other up. Which they used military analogies in that vision dream to show me how that works. But yeah, so I started to notice that I would get anxiety. And it's not that spirit's pushy going, oh, blah, 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 right? It's not like that. Like, spirit's always very gentle and kind. It's my ego fighting. It's the ego going, no, don't do it. We don't want to do it. Oh, we're anxious. We don't want to tell the world these things, right? Because, like, what if we're wrong? And then I'm like, well, the universe is telling me to do it. So, I mean, if I'm wrong, right? But if not, then I listened and I'm learning things and other people are learning things. So, if anything, people can go on my blog and they can see, hey, this chick wrote the word Massachusetts. She wrote about Massachusetts, and the next day there was an earthquake in Massachusetts. Oh, this chick was writing about waves and had a dream about ice, and then Alaska had a tsunami warning. Hey, this chick is writing about earthquakes, and there was an earthquake. Like, it's been going on all year long. So basically what happens is we're going through our spiritual awakening. We destroy our illusion of not just the life that we're living, but who we are at our core, right? Because as children, we're stuck in these molds on who we're supposed to be, right? I mean, our parents, our guardians, whoever raised us, you know, everybody does the best they can with the tools they have. But everybody has trauma that gets passed on through generations because they have their own toxic walls and their toxic traits. People are not toxic. We only have toxic traits, right? Just like people are not stupid. We just make stupid choices, right? Humans are very fragile. We're strong, but we're also really fragile. We're like the universal babies, you know? So sometimes we got to learn the hard way, and that's where that destruction comes in. So, you know, we're in this mold, and eventually we go, fuck, I'm really unhappy, right? So we have to be honest with ourselves. Shadow work does not pay off. It's not going to do shit if you're not honest. So we come to the realization, I'm not happy, I'm in pain, I'm lying to myself about what I want to be, who I want to be, where I want to go in life. I don't love myself. I don't know how to love other people properly because I don't love myself. I don't have unconditional love. I don't understand how to truly be kind and how to treat other people the way I want to be treated, because I don't love myself and I don't know how the hell I want to be treated. And that was that big epiphany I had when I had that Dark Night of the Soul entry. At some point I realized, he could not have loved me the way I needed him to love me because I didn't love me the way I needed to love me. So my healing process was, it started off as, let me get over this abuse that I endured. But then it turned into, let me figure out how to fucking love myself again, because I forgot how to love myself. I got so sucked up into other people's bullshit, trying to fix other people, right? When we try to fix other people, it's not that it's a bad thing that we want to help others. It's not. Of course we want to help others because we care. We derive from a consciousness that is pure love. So we care. But that urge to want to really go out and fix everybody else, that comes from, I'm broken, right? I'm broken. I feel broken. I feel miserable. I don't know how to heal myself. So let me take this urge to heal and do it for other people, help other people heal, right? And like me, I was one of those people. I could give everybody the best advice. I would tell them what to do and they would go on their merry way and everything would work out perfectly fine for them. But my life was a shit show. I was like, damn, why can I always give great advice, but I can't follow it myself? Well, because I got stuck in cycles, karmic fucking cycles of the same lesson over and over, and I wasn't learning the lesson. If you learn the lesson, you have to apply the lesson. If you don't apply the lesson, you will not break out of the cycle. That's one of my blog entries as well. I literally have everything in there. And it's pretty cool because I did it in a year. Damn, I've been busy, guys. For real. So, yeah, let me just look at some of the things here and I'll tell you what I got here and y'all can say which ones you want me to read. I have one here of an ego attack. When we shift, our ego fights, right? And ego is not bad. We don't want to kill ego, okay? We have these ego deaths. The ego death is an aspect of self shedding away, these illusions that we have of ourselves. It's a part of it shedding away. Every time this happens, our ego, right, goes into defense mode and it tries to instill fear, because fear is what keeps us in a lower vibration, right? The closer we are to love vibration, the more stuff we remember, because God is love. The all consciousness, God is universe, that spark that we come from is love. So the more in alignment we are with love on a soul level, which comes from healing, the more we will remember. The more we remember, the more ego kind of fights back, because ego's like, well, what am I going to do if she knows everything, right? And then I cannot tell you how many times this year I swore I was just going to leave my body. I was absolutely convinced that my soul was just going to, and then my flesh suit was just going to plop over. And I was like, I got kids, I can't leave. Nah. Happened so many times where I was physically, mentally, emotionally, completely convinced that my spirit was just going to leave my body. Those were ego deaths. Those were ego deaths and shifts in frequency. But the ego is I like to call the ego a toddler. It'll throw its fits. It'll attack sometimes. But if you give it its moments and you let her have a lollipop, she'll be pretty chill for the most part. We need the ego. The ego doesn't understand universe, and the universe, doesn't understand humanity, so the two have to work together to balance one out, so we're not too awkward, but we're not too, ego. So they work together, and it works pretty well for the most part. But what happens during these shifts when you're getting higher in your frequency is that ego will attack, and for me, these attacks come in dreams. So here I had one, and I learned how to lucid dream, right? I would have these dreams where somebody was trying to chase me. Somebody was trying to kill me all the time. There was somebody trying to kill me. And I was like, what the fuck is up with these dreams, right? And it was always one of those where if I see them, I'm going to die kind of vibes, right? So it was really weird. And then I started to learn how to take control. This is also how my sleep paralysis stopped, because I used to have really bad sleep paralysis. And this is how it stopped, was when I started to take over in these dreams. So this one happened 1 or 2 nights after I got out of the hospital, after I bled out, when all this crazy shit started happening with the astral projection, which I'd had before too, but not like this. But I wrote, some kind of evil entity took over me in the dream, and I was flying in my bathroom, and I looked in the mirror, and something inside of me, out of fear, wanted to call out for Jesus. And here's the thing. I had a Christian phase, so to say. I grew up Christian, but it never felt right to me. It never felt right. It always felt, I guess, fake. It felt fake. It felt like a lie. Not that Jesus existed, but just the religion in itself and how we were viewing Jesus. Now, with the information, the downloads, the visions I've had, I understand where that came from. So for me, it was always weird if I was having a dream and wanting to call out to Jesus, because I was like, why am I trying to call out to Jesus in my dream? Like, I don't want to worship him. He was a man. He was a man. He was not God. And that was what would always get to me. It was like, why are all these people here talking about God, but they're worshiping Jesus? But God says not to worship any other God. So we're worshiping this man who did an amazing thing. Yeah, but he's still a man, you know? And I always felt like something was off. So for me, in my dream, to call out for Jesus, that was like, what the fuck, you know? Yeah, a lot of us do. Like, deep in our core, we know. You know, and then, I mean, you heard the message that I wrote, that I sent when I was crying, when I got the information on what they did to the Bible, where the truth was altered. But yeah, so in the dream, I wanted to call out for Jesus. And then the entity threw me, and I remember looking in the mirror and my eyes were just completely black. They were completely black. So this, whatever was inside my body, and I'm floating in my bathroom, it goes, your Jesus is not real, right? And then I answered, like, I fought back the entity, and I spoke with my own vessel, with my own body. I spoke, and I didn't know at this point what I was capable of doing. You know, I didn't have the awareness that I have now. I said to him, I know that, but don't you know who I am? Get out. And then, like, I pushed it out of my body. I pushed this demon or whatever it was out of my body with my light, right? Like I said, do you know who I am? And like, I had this light come up out of me and push him out. And then here I wrote, I always felt Jesus was not as portrayed by people who have been conditioned. And then here was when I wrote down, when I had actually channeled the message about Jesus, the first one that I channeled, I wasn't aware I was channeling messages. I was in the shower. Water is a conduit. You're having ascension symptoms. You're getting a lot of information. You're not really sure what's going on. Take a shower, drink a lot of water, sit in the bathtub, go swimming, be in the ocean, go out in nature. But water is like the phone line to the all consciousness, and it will make the messages come in easier. And it won't always be so chaotic on your vessel. I've laid in this bed and had like a full-on seizure at one point where I was like, what the fuck is happening to me? Like my whole body was like convulsing like a seizure, and I was getting soul contract downloads where I saw the entire process of before I met the father of my girls, what happened during that and what purposes all those things served. And then I saw the person he's with now and how she comes into the picture and what she served. And then I saw the future for them and for me. But then I started to get like multiple timelines. So that was the first time I ever had something like that come in, and it had my whole body just convulsing on the bed. And I was like, what the fuck is happening, right? So if you feel weird, get in some water. But yeah, so the first message I got back then was, hell is the third dimension, which later, like, I wrote this differently then, but at that point I had written that Jesus isn't coming on a cloud to whisk everyone away who believes in heaven. Those who uncondition themselves will become open to the power we have always had. We cross over into the new dimension spiritually, not physically. So when I first got that message, I didn't really know what was going on, but for some reason I felt the urge to write it down, and I wrote it on my notes in my phone, and I can't find it, but I remember writing that down. So like as a child, I would have these dreams where my dad was like a false prophet, and I would get mad at him for being a false prophet because he would tell people to worship Jesus, and I was like, you're not doing it right. I was pissed. I was pissed off at my dad in these dreams, because, you know, he was the man who always told me, you're going to lose your kids if you don't believe in Jesus, and you're going to go to hell, and I don't want you to go to hell. I want you to be in heaven and, you know, be happy for all eternity. And I was just like, yeah, man, I'm sorry. I don't believe that. I didn't believe in it. I didn't say that, you know, I mean, there was a phase where I was like, God is not real, you know, but I knew there was something. I just didn't, Christianity just didn't feel right. And it's not the people's fault, you know. I mean, what happened in the past is the people's fault. Whoever the fuck have their ego all up in their shit. You know, power, money, fame makes people do really fucked up things. So, but yeah, so I wrote, the Bible is a metaphorical guideline. And then here I wrote this thought on my phone once, but I can't find it. It came to me before all this while in the shower, along the lines of Bible and Jesus being real, but those metaphors, how we are no longer in touch with our powers, healing, telepathy, astral travel, etc., which I didn't really understand telepathic communication until this summer. I knew that it was real, but I didn't understand it because I was not aware of actually experiencing it. Hey, James, what's up? So I wrote here, because the world is distracting us. I said, we are conditioned to fear the spiritual. And this is what I recently found out in the Bible. They actually took everything that spirituality is, everything that makes us remember, and they put it in a box, and they wrapped it up in fear, and they said, this is the new world religion that's going to come over, and it's going to make you go to hell if you fall for it. They took the truth, and they wrapped it up in a lie so that people fear it, so that they don't question anything else. And that's why it's so hard to convert Christians to what true Christianity is. Because they have that fear instilled in them that they're going to go to hell, that God is mean and vengeful, but that's not that ain't it. That's not it. All right? We're not made in his image on a physical level. We're made in his image energetically. Consciousness. Because the world is distracting us, conditioned to fear the spiritual. Those who wanted to hide the truth gave us these lies about an angry God who punishes, but we are all one, connected spiritually, and some of us are considered gifted when all along it has been our right to access these higher frequencies. I've always seen signs, had dreams, and certain bonds with people that were unexplainable. It is not a gift, it is who we are. So yeah, like, all of these things that happen, they happen to everybody differently. You know, we all experience different things, but the lessons that we learn are all the same. And, can I wave at you? Boop. That's cool. The lessons that we learn are all the same. We just interpret them differently, right? The lessons are kindness, which I called Don't Be a Dick. When I was writing my blog about that, it was Don't Be a Dick. There's Turn the Other Cheek, Walk Away, which I was calling The Art of Shutting the Fuck Up, which these lessons also have like layers and levels and dimensions. So like The Art of Shutting the Fuck Up, for instance, starts off with don't argue with people, just walk away, just shut up, right? But then later on it comes back around to don't try to explain yourself. That's another one. You know, sometimes we're trying to argue with somebody as a means to defend ourselves, but then there's also the whole trying to explain yourself. Like, if I go and I write about something spiritual and somebody goes, oh, well, you're going to go to hell because da-da-da-da-da-da, I don't have to respond. They can think, oh, I won the conversation. They can think, oh, I triggered her. But that's not the case. I just realized the art of shutting the fuck up. What's the point in me having a conversation with somebody that's going to go round and round and round and round and round? Bullshit. It's bullshit. And ain't nobody got time for that. Right? So, and that was one of the things I recently posted where I was like, these cycles are getting annoying because I kept getting sucked into someone else's cycle. And I was like, let me draw a fucking line here and support this person and love this person from a distance because I got tired of getting sucked into the same cycle where it was always just a back and forth. And I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. I ain't got time for that. I'm trying to help a whole lot of other people. And I spend a lot of time helping this person. And I was like, I could have helped 10 fucking people with the amount of time that I spent helping her. And she's doing good, and I'm super proud of her because she has come a long way. But I just did not have it in me to go through that cycle with her again. So I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. All right, the artist shutting the fuck up. Just walk away. Yeah, I don't know who's actually watching right now because there's no thingy up here. But if somebody wants to come live on here with me to talk about any of this stuff, share your story. If you have anything that you maybe wrote down at some point. I don't see you on the screen, or did you change your picture? Oh, that is you. Hold on. Let me hit the button. I'm adding you. You should be able to, I don't know. There should be a button. There should be something. Do you see it? I don't know if you can see it or not. It says on my thing adding. Hi, I'm trying to add her to the conversation. I don't know if it's popping up on her end or not. Try again. No.
What's up?
What exactly pops up on your end whenever I do that?
Girl, I don't know, man. I just was following and I was waiting. It took a little time, you're in Germany, so.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole time thing.
Right? So,
But yeah.
hey, let's stop talking about the past for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of want to know what you're going to be doing in this next year. And I'm not talking about worldwide. I want to know what Jenna is going to be doing this upcoming year.
Me?
Yeah. Spiritually.
Spiritually?
I mean, I know we're both going to leave a legacy, right?
Yeah.
Right?
I
We're both
actually
going to
plan
be
on moving my
wealthy. We're
heaven and
both
earth.
going to be abundant. You know what I mean? We're both going to be talking to
Yep.
the masses.
Yep.
I don't know that that'll happen this year, but it's definitely starting this year. You're starting your shadow thing in January. I'm starting my one-on-one in January.
Yeah, I'm
And
gonna be
both of us,
directing
it's so
people too.
funny. It's so funny because both of us are like, we're just going to wing it.
Yeah, exactly. Wing it.
You know what I mean?
That's what we've been doing the whole damn time is winging it anyways. That's what life
Right.
is.
Well, no, actually, no, I haven't been winging it for myself. I've actually, but as far as like helping other people, like I'm gonna be winging it. And last night it came to me that I was like, I want to do this and I want to do this in my one-on-one group, and then Spirit's like, that's what you did. That's not necessarily what they need for their journey. Why don't you try fucking asking them what they need?
Yeah.
And I thought,
Yeah.
I just like how my spirit gets up in my face. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like one of the dark. I don't know if that's one of the dark triple goddesses like Morgana or Hecate or I don't know if it's one of them because I'm still learning to discern who is who. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do know that, like, when I get like, oh, you don't fucking want to help, you don't like what I have to say, fine, fuck you. I'm like, oh my god, that's Lilith. Lilith
Oh,
is like,
yeah.
she fucking, I swear to God, she's like, she'll offer help, and if you dismiss it, then she's like, well, fuck you then. I'm done with you. And I'm like, oh my god, I got Lilith all up in my ass.
I believe that Lilith is like the solar plexus chakra.
Which one?
Solar plexus chakra. That's all Lilith. Stepping into your power.
Ah, for you, I think she's my root.
She's your roots?
I believe so.
Yeah, for me, she was solar plexus. She came when I was clearing solar plexus stuff. Being my.
But that was her light side then.
Huh?
That was her light side then.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
probably
more sacral.
When about her, there was like, it looked like you would think the Garden of Eden, right? And I saw this beautiful woman talking to a snake, and I was like, Eve? And then I was like, no. And then I got really excited, right? I was like, Eve, whatever. And then I was like, no, wait, that's not Eve, that's Lilith. And I got super excited, like, you know, like when you see an old friend that you haven't seen in a really long time. That's how I felt. And I was like, oh my god, it's Lilith. And I woke up and I was like, why the fuck am I dreaming about Lilith? Like, what? But it was really cool. I was like, oh my god, yeah. I'm pretty sure she's the one who was here with Mur that one night too when I was sick, which I'm still convinced I had COVID.
Oh well.
Yeah.
We all had COVID. Just like we've all had the flu. We've all had the flu. We've all had freaking, you know what I mean?
But because my sister had it and she described it exactly the way we had it earlier this
year. Influenza is still more deadlier, isn't it not?
I don't look at any of the numbers. I'm pretty sure if we tested everybody for the flu, you know, everybody would pop up positive too.
Right. I actually know some people that like took their Q-tips, dipped it in water, and then sent it in, and they're like, "Oh, you tested positive." They're like,
"Damn."
Their own nurses. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, because they just wanted to know, and then my daughter was like, all these people, the more the state claims to have COVID, the more funding they get.
Yeah, yeah. I heard that they get like $2,000 per death.
It's fucking up. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's ridiculous. But anyway, so what else is in store for Jenna? Like after the, you know, it's this one-on-one thing for shadow work. Is that just going to be for January?
No,
or are you going to be doing it the whole year through?
I don't know for sure. It just depends on how things go.
Are you setting up like people, like setting it up to certain people? Because like my one-on-one, I started with 4, and I have 7 now.
Yeah. I have 9 signed up for January, and I have 2 signed up for February.
Yeah. See, I don't want to really go above 9. If I do, like 9 is the limit for me.
I wasn't even gonna go 9, and it just kind of happened.
Like, right. I only wanted to do 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then Spirit's like, girl, you got this. I'm like, girl, I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. She's like, don't worry about it. I got you.
Yeah, just wing it. Yeah. The plan will come. The plan will come because, like, I noticed today, and I wrote Em about it, I noticed today that I have been setting everything up all year long so that next year I can actually focus on the people because I've written the blog, all the messages are out there, all the lessons I learned are out there. The shadow work exercises, a lot of them are out there. I got the books out. I got my tarot deck.
So you don't need to talk about the past anymore. It's all
I have to do is, you know, focus on those one-on-ones. Huh?
Did you hear me?
Past.
So you don't have to talk about the past anymore because it's already all out there.
Exactly. So now I can focus on helping people
present time and the future.
Huh?
On the present time and future.
Yes, the now. So I'll be showing.
It's time for you to move forward, girl. I feel it. Like you need to get out of this past, and I think that both of us have come to an eruption point where we're like, you know what? Look, we're here. We love you no matter what.
Yep.
We'll always be here for you, but we are not going to entertain your bullshit anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, you've said it repetitively. I say, like, in my group, I'm constantly like, look, you know, this is what I did for me. It worked for me. Granted, it might not work for you, but look, here's just an outline. Here's a guideline. Go find out what works for you on your own. And they're like, stuck. Like, oh, they just won't do a fucking thing on their own. It's like, God damn, you know what? The first year I woke up, I didn't fucking talk or ask anything. If I wanted to know something, I went and YouTubed it. Fuck it. And then I listened to 3 different videos about the YouTube, and then I took what resonated and left what didn't. And then I came up with my own fucking conclusion.
Yeah.
You know, and when somebody said something, either I felt it by either your great body shakes, like I'd be like, oh my God, it felt like an inside orgasm.
Yeah.
You know, not sexually, but just an emotional orgasm. That's what I'm going to call it. You know, the body shakes like, oh my God, ah! It's a download. And I remember not even knowing what a download was until you.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember looking at this one picture.
I think that's just what I started to call it at some point, because I was like,
but then everybody was already calling it that.
Exactly. Like, what
but
else
I didn't know that. I'd never heard that. You know, but what I like doing is installing the downloads. People don't realize they can install the downloads, because downloads come and then they sit there and they do not install until your mind looks for that. So instead of waiting to look for something, if you set the intention at night, because you know you got downloads that day, so before you sleep, you tell your brain, yourself, your ego, spirit, whatever it is that you want to fucking tell them, look, I need you to install the downloads that I received today.
Yeah.
Boom. You wake up in the morning, take a shower with the water conduit fucking booming.
And stuff comes in. Yep.
Yeah, girl, that's intense. That's intense. Intense.
Your grandson?
Yeah, my grandson. He's watching Pets too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might think of that movie. I don't think I've seen it once.
It's only like what?
Huh? Oh, you froze.
33. Done?
Hello, you froze. There you are. You froze. You froze on my end. I don't know if you froze all together or not. You're back now, so it's cool. Huggies. I saw Huggies.
I had to turn the camera around to unfreeze it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I didn't even know that worked. I just almost spirits like turn that. So anyway, guess what I get to work on this year? The chakras in my hand.
Are they itchy and burning?
The third eye, no, because my third eye has been how do you say it? Obliterated? Obliterated.
Is that it?
My third eye was obliterated by either a suicide or a murder in my past life. That's some trauma from ancestral shit and whatever. So I've been granted permission to open the third eye chakra in here.
You can do that?
Okay. Why not? Why couldn't I? Right?
Why not?
Why couldn't I? You know, you've seen the pictures. You've seen the pictures with the hands, with the eyes and the hands?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's the third eye. My third eye got shot. It was shot the fuck out. With a revolver. And why do I love revolvers so much? I don't know, but I know now. You know? I've always had a thing for revolvers, and now I know why. Because I was probably murdered by one.
Damn.
Right in the head. So anyway, and then what else is coming up this year? Do you work with ISIS?
Do I what?
Work with ISIS?
I don't really put names to them anymore. Like some of them, like when Metatron came through, like that was like a new one, so that was like holy shit.
Right. You know who Sophia the Creatrix is?
Sophia?
There's two Sophias. There's the Sophia of wisdom from the Greek mythology, and then there's Sophia, which is the God source energy of unconditional love.
Yeah.
Sophia the Creatrix.
I kind of wonder where the name Sophia comes from, though. Like, who put Sophia to that label? It just doesn't. I don't know why.
Who put God to the label of God?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Sophia is a name that totally resonates with me. It's a name that actually I've always loved, and it's the name of my grandmother, who's not really my grandmother, but you know what I mean? She was a blind lady who liked to sit there in front of a slot machine and gamble.
Did she win?
I don't know, but she had told my parents, you need to take her back to the hospital and get all that white blood sucked out of her. When I was an infant, born, just born, days old, she was full Mexican, and she was like, you need to take her back to the hospital and get all the white blood pumped out of her. Well, guess what? Guess what? I grew up a racist person against Mexicans. Why? Because the Mexican lady tried to freaking deprive my white heritage. That's what I figured. I was like, are you serious right now? Like, this is why I hated Mexicans, because she was like, no, you need to take all the white blood out of this baby because she's no good with it.
That was why I hated Germans. Not the blood thing, but because they treated me differently because I was the daughter of the first mixed child in the area.
Right.
Exactly. And I was the American German girl, but they'd be like, go back
to
America.
Did you know that
I was born here. Like, what the fuck? I was born here.
Right. Did you know that racist, the original word racist means favorable to a specific race? And through the years, it got twisted to animosity and hate towards a race because of their skin color. And it has nothing to do. Racism is you favor a race preferred to another words. So my dad told me many, many years ago, he was like, I'm racist. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, I'm prejudiced. And I'm like, what does that mean? And he's like, I prefer white people to any other. But he was born in 1939, right?
He's your biological dad?
Huh?
Your biological dad?
No, he was actually not my biological father. My biological father is actually German.
Well, damn.
Right? His last name is Heiss. Heiss.
Wow.
Yep. But anyway, so I just didn't, my dad told me that, and then I learned that, and I was like, I've actually not, I do not wish harm on other people because of their skin. The thing was, I was like my father, and I was raised to prefer white people over any other race. So I had to come to terms with that. I was a fucking racist. But the racist really means, the movie Mississippi Burning, broke my heart. Like, oh my God, how cruel us white people can be to another fucking race for being a different color. Like, it broke my heart. So I knew right then when I saw that movie, I was not racist in that manner. I was racist in the fact that I just thought white was superior, which now I way know better. You know, I do know way better. I know way better now. But the thing was, that was a hard thing to come up, to terms with. You know, I was a racist person, and I had self-hatred towards my own race, towards the Mexican heritage.
Yeah.
You know, and that was hard. But now I'm just like, you know what? I'm not Mexican. I'm not German. You know what? I'm just me. I'm a blue-ray being. I'm a blue soul. What you see is your business.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody's going to see something different anyways.
Right. So,
you know, somebody might look at you and see Gaia. Somebody else might look at you and see Mom. Somebody else might look at you and see freaking Archangel Gabriel, right?
Right.
We see what we need to see when we need to see it through whichever vessel appears. It's pretty cool how that works sometimes.
Yes. Very cool. Very cool.
Took me a while to figure that out, though. Because I'd be like, why do I see this person as this angel and then somebody else sees him as that angel? And I'm like, are we fucking crazy? And then I realized it's that whole perception and interpretation.
And you do know that dragons and angels are the same, right?
Yeah, I know when they showed me the broken wing. Because the dragon had a broken wing, and then when I saw the angel form, I was like, oh shit, the broken wing.
Which is you, and I really thought it was Metatron, but then later on I was like, Metatron would never have a broken wing.
No, they fixed it. It got fixed.
Yours
the wing got fixed. I felt that shit in my spine. I felt that shit one night when I was laying in bed.
I had a bone protruding in my chest plate right here. A bone protruding. It was a protruding bone. And this year it went away. It went away. And I'm going to tell you how that happened. Because the rich girl, me, the rich me that's already rich in another dimension, had that shit fixed. She's like, oh no, I can't have this. And like, no, I'm serious, girl. I'm not even playing with you. Like, she's like, I can't have this. And because I did the work, because I did the shadow work, because I healed myself, it actually came through in this timeline. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so when the rich girl, me, in her timeline, went and surgically had her chest broken, re-broke, and set properly by a doctor, like, I fucking saw it all. I was like, what? Okay, I was drunk when it happened, but I was not drunk when it healed. You know what I mean? Like, I woke up and my shit was sore. And I was like, what the fuck? And so, because of body scanning and meditation, I learned, okay, let's find out where it's coming from, right? So I'm looking, and I'm seeking, and I'm going all the way, and I come to here, and I'm like, oh my God, it's fucking gone. Like, it had been there for 5 years at least.
Yeah.
And then what? It just goes away, and I'm like, that's shit. Quantum fucking timeline jumping right there. Rich me, and I'm catching up with the rich me. I can feel it. You know what I mean? Like, I can feel it. Just like you can feel it. Why? Because we're healing. Because we're doing our thing. Because we're fucking. And so we're like, we're going to be the pioneers of something in this fucking, we are going to fucking leave a legacy for our children. And I so fucking believe it. And it's just, I'm not scared. I'm not scared at all about nothing. I like all see it as an opportunity.
God's promises.
The thing is, we have to let go of those people who keep us in those cycles, like you were talking about earlier. You know, I kept staying in a cycle with somebody.
Yep.
To help them. We have to learn how to identify that faster and just be like, look, move on. Next person, what?
Those energy shifts, whenever you let go of specific kind of energy, is crazy though, right? Like, you can feel how they were holding you back, and when you let go of them, you're like, phew, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've also noticed that people who like to claim that you're an energy vampire are actually the energy vampires themselves. Yeah. They'll be like, I can't let you.
I do that all the time.
Your energy is full of fear and anxiety. I don't see how my energy's messing up your energy. What's really happening is they're projecting their shit onto you, right? Because you're all up here fucking living your best life, and they haven't figured that out yet. So they're projecting their fears and shit onto you, making it seem.
See, you and I
like
know that.
Energy vampire
we know that. Like, that's the beauty of where we're at. Like, we're just projection. That's how it got me to stop talking shit about people, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, oh, you're a bitch. Oh, if I call her a bitch, then that means something inside of me is a bitch. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that really, really opened my eyes a lot to, like, when you see something negative in another person, that's a reflection of yourself. Yep. So same thing with the freaking president, all right? You see something bad in Trump, well, that's just a reflection of yourself, bitch. You know? And same with Biden. Like, I do not support any fucking either one. I don't support Trump. I support Biden. But here's the thing. While they're president, I will not talk shit about them. It's none of my business. Yeah. My favorite thing about Trump is that he has, like, no fucks to give. No fucks to give. You know what I think, though? The people, and I've already seen this happen. The Trump supporters who are fucking crazy and over the border crazy Trump, because, like, I'm a Trump supporter, but I'm not psycho crazy Trump. You know what I mean? There's psycho crazy Trump. Well, those people are the ones who are going to be waking up in the next 4 years. Mm-hmm. Every fucking marriage who was fucking Trump, they're both Trump, right? Crazy Trump. Now that Biden is going to be president in January, those marriages will dissipate. Those marriages will dissolve. Because why? Because it's time for them to wake up. All of Hillary's supporters had to wake up 4 years ago. Yeah. You know, now it's Trump supporters that have to wake up through Biden. If Biden makes it, I don't know, and I really don't care. Because you know what? Honestly, the government only matters if you're a politician. Straight up. Yep. Otherwise, it's a complete farce and there's no validity. No validity to it. Well, no. Plus, they kind of, screwed people over. California is the worst. Like, they'll okay, vote for marijuana, to be legal. We all voted, yes, make it legal. And then the politicians come in and go, oh, well, even though you voted it legal, we're not ready yet. Huh? They did that? Stupid. But anyway, I want to pull a card. You want to pull a card? Are you pulling cards? No, but you can. Emily's back. Hi, Emily. What was that card site that you made your cards on? It was what? Cardapp.com, makemyowncards.com. Yeah, something like that. I have the link on my phone. I can send it to you. I can post it in the comments here through the group. Hold on, let me go grab it. Emily, what are you doing? I have a disco ball back there. Do you see it? You see the disco ball? By the TV. My boyfriend bought it. Just for shits and giggles. Now we have a disco ball. Emily said to person come on, or is it just 2 people? Is it just 2 people allowed on? Do what? Are only 2 people allowed on, or can Emily come on too? I don't see a thing to invite her. I think only 2 can do it because there's like a little camera that I can click on next to the picture to invite someone. It's not me. Grandson, where's the problem? What's the problem? Alright. All kinds of cards.
Emily said to pull a card for tomorrow.
For what?
For tomorrow? She wrote pull a card for tomorrow. Can you see it in the comments?
Okay, no, I can't. I don't see shit in the comments. Does she have a deck that she wants? Like right now I have a tarot deck, a chakra deck, the dragon cards, and the ancients. And the ancients.
Which one is that?
Huh?
What is the last one that you just kissed?
The ancients. This one is the one that's binded to me.
Okay.
We'll do this one.
Kara agrees with Emily to pull a card for tomorrow. She says dragon. Emily says dragon.
All right. I'll do one of each. How about that? So there'll be 4 cards. There'll be 4 cards. For tomorrow, what do you need to know?
Ancient. So yeah, one of each. Oh, deja vu.
What?
Deja vu. I had a deja vu.
What? About right now?
Yeah.
There's a glitch in the system. There's a glitch in the matrix.
This is not a pen. There is no pen. Let me. Nope.
Bend the pen.
Guess it only works with a spoon.
There. What do we need to know about tomorrow? Ancients. We're going to leave that one out. Huh?
Care Bear said, beep, beep, bitches.
Beep, beep, bitches. Oh, I got you. We do need a song in the background for sure.
You got a spoon, too.
You make me feel like dancing.
I got my disco ball.
Right! I think it was like a shadow side of download, like a memory being made. Ooh, ooh. Listen to the wisdom with the girl. Yeah.
Hold on, there's a kid banging on my door.
What do we need to know for tomorrow? Oh.
Who's knocking? Why is she so out? You say I didn't do anything. Okay. She hit you.
Oh, for the start.
Come here. Ooh, disco. Hold on, let me blow up the candle. Look, disco. Ooh, you guys see the disco lights? I'm back. Come here. You want to say hi? Okay, let me move my journals. Can you see the disco lights? Yeah, you can see the disco lights. Oh.
I love this reading. All right.
So did you pull for tomorrow or just like for the collective?
I know it's for tomorrow and for the collective. So what we got is you, your path, your potential. You, your path, your potential. Okay. Tomorrow we must focus. All right. Focus on whatever it is that you need to focus on. Like, I don't know what it is. I need to focus on clearing my energies and protecting myself for myself. Okay, so whatever it is you need to focus on, you know what that is. You figure it out. Okay. your path and potential. Okay, so your path. The golden orange dragon, which is a Metatron dragon, I happen to know. What? Expands your light for ascension. Be a peaceful warrior. Help those in need, and remember your magnificence, magnificence, like Maleficent. Okay, which it's so funny because that is followed by the magician key card, which is the manifestation, which would also be Maleficent's equal, Merlin.
That's cool. Yeah.
Right? Right?
It's magic,
Right. So our potential in our path, well, our potential is the ascension. And if we do that, then our path will be a master of manifestation.
Awesome.
You know what I mean? That's the magician. Like you have all elements right there. You have everything at your hands. You're a master manifestator. Also, okay, so get this. The chakra cards fell out 3 at a time. Hi, cutie. Remember earlier I talked about Hecate being the base chakra? Stop it! Stop. Jesus. The base chakra also came up. Come here.
Get your fingers at your mouth. What are you doing?
Here, put your fingers in your mouth and be quiet. So the base chakra came up. All right. I don't know if that's validating Hecate or not.
I think it was Lilith we were talking about, wasn't it? Sit down.
Yes, but this is the U. Tomorrow, you know what? The base chakras come up a lot. Even in my last TikTok video, it was like, let's clear, and because well, base chakra is connected to ancestral shit, obviously.
Yeah.
So, and that's definitely what's releasing and being acknowledged right now. And that helps us with our intuition when we plug into our ancestry shit and we heal it. It also
Kara says she's been focusing on her root today.
Very good. See, confirmation. There. And so when you do your base chakra, okay, and then you get in tune with your intuition, you will be able to control your will. And this is like exactly what I'm doing right now with the smoking. I have gone down to like 3 to 5 cigarettes a day versus a whole pack. To a whole pack.
What about it? Josh was in here.
So like when you get all of this in order, you use your intuition, your base chakra is aligned, you use your intuition, your will come in to play and it will stop everything for you. Like I have stopped biting my nails. That was a huge fucking healing, I have stopped rubbing my eyebrow. That was another huge healing, you know what I mean? So with the smoking, with the not smoking anymore, I could just imagine what's going to open up for me. You know what I mean?
Look on YouTube. The limit. There's an 8 or 9 hour guided meditation thing from Thomas Hall to quit smoking. I listened to that September 11th, I think. Haven't touched a cigarette since. Like I went cold turkey overnight listening to that.
Not even know you smoked. You smoked in March?
I smoked cigarettes, I smoked weed, I smoked fucking cigars.
No, I knew you smoked weed, but I did not know you smoked cigarettes. What?
I started smoking cigarettes after my parents got divorced. I was 10.
And you stopped this year?
I stopped during each pregnancy, and then I started up again after I had each kid. And then, like with Adeline, I quit for almost 2 years altogether, I think. Because when I got pregnant with her, I quit smoking like the next day, I think. And then I was still smoking weed, though, because I was puking up until I was like 6 months pregnant with her. And then I started, like, I would smoke on occasion. I'd smoke a cigarette on occasion. And then it became like 3 cigarettes on occasion, 5 cigarettes on occasion. And then eventually I had to stop bumming them because I was smoking too much, and I bought my own, and a pack would last a couple days until eventually I was back to smoking a pack a day. And here they cost €7 a pack. So I was like, I can't afford this shit. So yeah. And then like, I don't remember.
They're almost $8.
Somebody told me about Thomas Hall or something. And I was like, let me find a fucking smoking thing. And I did it. And then it was really weird because like the next day when I had a craving for a cigarette, I would get this weird headache, and then the craving would go away. And anytime I was like, I could just hit a cigarette.
You'll have to send me that one, because I've used multiple meditations and they work to a certain degree, but none of them have made me just quit cold turkey like that. So.
Hey, Emily said we should do a call. Yeah, let's do that, because we're still fucking live. I totally forgot that.
All right. All right. Love you.
All right, we'll do a call. All right, love you, bye.